Kia ora koutou, no mai, haere mai, te awa kairangi. Hello everyone and welcome to Te Awa Kairangi. We are just north of Wellington City here, and this beautiful day, the second day of the New Zealand Ultimate Championships 2024. I'm Kelsey Bielik.
And I'm Beck Sofa.
And we are here with you today, your eyes and ears on the ground, as we're guiding you through this exciting, rumbling matchup between cannons. And hailing from Christchurch, and Hammertron hailing from Hamilton. Hammertron Mahuika hailing from Hamilton. Now, what do we have in store today, Beck? What are you looking for today? What are you excited about? What are we looking at in these two teams?
This is going to be a really exciting match. It is the match to get into the semis. Each of these teams have battled their way through power pools. Cannons coming off a little bit worse against a few of the teams in the upper bracket, meaning that they're versing off against Hammertron, coming from that lower pool but topping it comfortably by the looks of things, while they're running a shorter roster than perhaps in previous years and perhaps compared to some of the other teams here. Small but mighty. As is typical, coming from the mighty Wakatu. They'll be looking to put a lot of pressure on Cannon's offense with their intense defensive players. And I know that we've got some really, really strong offense players on there as well. Some Whaitiri players, for example, Symbol. I think we've got Kalikata out there somewhere. And Mairangi Hogan, currently on field, I think, as well. So it's strong players, and we're going to be watching those matchups against some of these really strong Cannons players who've really proven that they can push the pedal to the metal. Coming out with a win against Misfits earlier today, who had previously gone undefeated. So it's going to be really excited to see how this matchup turns out. Hopefully Hamilton's a slightly smaller roster, not really hampering them too much. But is this the third game, I believe, of today?
So we're seeing Hammertron is in dark, they're in black, and they're coming out on defense against Christchurch Cannons in white.
Hold away with the disc now. Looking down the line, sends it to Chambers. A Mahuika, recently selected Mahuika player, sends it back to Holdaway.
Fighting to get open.
Oh, she wants it deep.
Looking for Douglas. Finding Sanders.
Nice snag. Sanders looking. She's got Chambers coming, but doesn't want it.
Engaging Manson, going for the inside of Douglas.
Still count was getting high. Good for the bailout cut.
Douglas engaging options, finding Sanders again. Nice swing past the Holdaway.
Oh, look at that.
Back. Oh, my goodness. My heart. What a beautiful put.
EJ Holdaway, no stranger to those really low release forehand. Shanked straight to that far side of the field. Saw her receiver going, knew it was a good option. Took it straight away. No hesitation.
And we're not seeing, that offensive point, that beautiful offensive hold from Cannons impacted in any way by wind, rain, of course, conditions today. Beautiful day, sun's out, it's warm in Te Awa Kairangi. This is, you couldn't really ask for better conditions to be playing Ultimate Frisbee.
It is beautiful out here. I'd like to say it's not that uncharacteristic of Wellington, but as a local, I can say that's not true. Usually there is a bit of wind, a bit of rain.
The windiest city in the world. It's definitely putting a show on for us today, this weekend.
And hopefully it stays this way for the rest of the tournament.
So we've got here we've got a hold from Cannons, a great point, beautiful inside-out pass from EJ Holdaway, looking for the break side. And we've seen some great connections, wonderful movement from Cannons. We know they're a really well-drilled team, really focusing on the trainings and building those connections with each other. Previously, of course, on the starting picture, great to see Jess Jenkins jumping up to the skies, taking to the skies to tear that down. She's also on Cannons, but right now they're coming out on defense against Hammertron, Mahuika coming out on offense, giving them a chance. We've got Carter and Ball back. Such a dynamic handler duo.
They've played so many games, so many tournaments together. Moving to Anne-Marie.
McDonald, yes, with the disc. Looking for options. And I love that Cannons has chosen to throw a zone right now. Such a an aggressive defensive option, really challenging right off the bat, challenging the offense to get creative. Here we can see with a strong handling set, it's not an issue for them, and I won't expect to be an issue really in light conditions like this.
I feel like some of these really veteran handlers, Carter, Ball, they're not going to be phased by this. But the question is whether they're slightly less experienced downfield are going to be able to. Oh, that foot looked on the line.
No,
Uncontested.
Yeah, no contest there. So let's look at that one more time. What do you guys think at home? See, she's looking in. She sees her foot on the line. I don't know if we could zoom in. Was she touching it or was she in bounds?
Yeah, difficult. Oh, Becky Farr signaling in.
So we can't make a call here. Again, this is up to the players on the field. As with many sports, I mean, we do have obviously this footage here, but players can choose to engage with it if they want to. So we're revisiting that, taking a look again. Conversation on the field is more players. Carter here, Ball coming in to take a look, weighing in. They're choosing to engage with the footage again. That's their decision. What do you guys think at home? Wonderful footwork regardless. Really great awareness.
I think it's difficult just because her cleats are black and the line is black.
Yeah.
Perhaps. And it's difficult to see really whether that front edge of the boot was actually touching the line or not.
Yes, I think is the tricky part. Again, the line is out of bounds in Ultimate Frisbee.
Yeah. I think they're happy to go with an out call there. Probably the right outcome. It really looked on the line from here, but I mean, best perspective from the commentator's booth. Not really maybe the closest to the play. But here we are. Chang moving the disc to Taylor Arts. Looking downfield.
Nice engagement, faking the unders, looking for Taylor Arts, who's covered really well by Carter, taking off that strike look, goes for the far around.
That high release.
Carter just stopping.
Chang breaking ankles, but gets looked off in favor of, just a slightly overjuiced throw there.
She takes to the skies, but can't get there.
Noemi Hooverland streaking deep.
Ball centers to Carter. Carter faking options. There's no mark on her.
Hooverland's asking for it. Carter's looking downfield. Oh, and a hammer.
Yes, please.
Yes, thank you.
Oh my gosh, too easy. That was beautiful.
And a beautiful reception from Big B.
And when you have no mark, again, we saw really saggy defense. No mark set on Carter, which is
dangerous.
That's so threatening. She's such a leader, such a strong thrower. And if you're giving her every option on the field, she's going to take whatever she has available.
She's hard enough to shut down with the mark, let alone giving her free reign.
So there's two Cannons players in the middle, and they're largely not really covering much. A really saggy poach, but yeah, over the top. And I love that execution of the hammer. I don't know if I would have gone for that, but I'm also not Kelly Carter. And I don't have those throws. And when you have those throws, I love it. I love it.
She's got expansive options.
Yes, definitely. Matching point for point here, we see, Cannons coming out with a hold and Hammertron responding in like kinds. Furry friends and human friends alike on the sideline. The stands are filling up a little bit now that it's getting towards the end of the second day of the tournament. Games are getting a bit tighter. So, yeah, tension's rising and really exciting to have the energy rising as well. So people sitting out here spectating the game and providing that energy from the sidelines.
Huge crowd today. No doubt sticking around for the showcase game later. It will be the New Zealand men's Opens team, Taniwha versus the Barbarian squad. Cvtanovic with the disc, looking downfield. Doesn't like what she sees. Starts moving.
I love Cvtanovic, her initiation, with the strike
huge gainer. Oh, tough to reel in though.
Carter is going to pick up on the sideline. I love when the disc is in her hands, just so many options. An interesting switch there with Holdaway backing up and LeGrel picking up the mark. LeGrel now.
Carter interested in looking deep.
I'm so into this Holdaway Carter matchup as well. That's got good things in store.
Hogan with the disc.
Nice connections.
Carey with the disc. Moving to Taylor. Taylor's engaging, but getting stuck, sends it.
Good decision.
Likely on still 9.5. Heaps of bodies under the discs. Who snagged that?
Love that. I love that. Wow.
I believe that was Quackenbush.
May have
was it? Or was it Hall?
Double checking numbers here on our
we'll
rosters. Regardless, An incredible take from the Skies. I love that decision, you know, really great defense from Cannon, shutting down all the options, and that was a 50-50 look. You know, I think great execution and recognition. She saw the stall was high and knew that she just needed to get the disc out of her hands. Here we see engaging the reset. Maybe a little bit late. Reset looking to get open, and again, great defense by Cannons. Launching it downfield and just trusting that the player is going to get open.
Carter recognizing that her her teammates likely got better position. Position's a little bit behind her in case it goes over top, but that just results in being extra backup and grabbing the score. Yeah, if she wanted to throw that one to Hogan, she really had to decisively take that option right when it came up.
Yeah.
The Cannons defense isn't going to give you a second chance.
So normally when you're engaging your reset, this varies for everyone, but right, usually around stall 3 or 4, it's a good time to look at your reset and give them those extra seconds to get open. It was a little bit late with the reset, and Hogan struggling to get around the Cannons defense. So I don't know. I love that it worked for them though, and it was a nice huck, a good decision, and good take.
Big pull from Hogan, centering. Cvitanovic looking downfield. There's a lot of options happening, but not quite anything that she likes.
Nance. Oh, with a nice
release.
Huge
gainer.
And a reset to Jenkins. Again, on that highlight clip before the game opened.
Double coverage in there.
Great recognition from the defense. Ball with the disc.
Picks it up quickly, wants to get this disc moving.
Sun looking for options, finding ball again for the reset.
There's a nice under, but a little bit too close with the defense on their tail.
Sun again on the break side.
Uvlin, a bit of a dynamo, powerful player.
Resetting to ball.
She's as dangerous upfield as she is downfield, honestly.
A nice look to Hogan. Hogan assessing options. Great. A little bit of poachiness downfield as Cannons are shutting down so many options. Ball indicating that she wants a wide swing into space.
Hammertron stack a little bit far away. They need to just crunch a little bit closer. Preble bailing
Nice
some out.
break.
What a grab. Sends it. Oh, beautiful. Hovlin. Oh, and again, there's going to be a lot of bodies under here.
High. Douglas in position to take that down. Douglas walks up. Such a great receiver in the deep, deep space. There she is, you know, taking to the skies for them. Through
just
the
out of the hands of Cvitanovic.
And that's
uncharacteristic error from Cvitanovic, former U20s player. Actually imported from Otago as well this season. She's usually playing with Wolf, but this season decided doing a slightly northward migration. And Hogan sends it. Oh, Uvlin grabs the absolute zipper.
Oh, that's a few points now for Hammertron. And I do want to comment, one thing that we didn't mention before was their matchup yesterday. So this is not, we've been using the term grudge match, which I think indicates a little bit more
animosity.
Yeah,
it's not there.
Exactly. That is not here for the teams. Really great displays of spirit. They're both really spirited teams, spirited clubs. But yesterday there was a fiery matchup. I remember walking over to check in during the game, and commentators Blair and Rich gave you guys the score, but they were, I think Cannons were up by 1 point, and the report was, but it's a grind. You know, they were trading point for point. They were leaving everything out there. Players were on the sideline panting, even though they'd just come off, sweating. Everyone was working as hard as they could. So this is, again, not a grudge match. I think Cannons came out on top a little bit, but the final score, I believe, was 14-10 to Cannons. But Hammertron, no doubt, taking that experience, knowing what Cannons are looking for, what their strategies are, as they laid everything out on the field against them, and looking to shut that down. You know, this is Cannons' opportunity to maintain that lead and show that they deserve that and worked for it. And this is Hammertron's game to show them that, you know, 2 times, you know, they're not going to get it again. They may have gotten it the first time, but Hammertron is looking to shut it down now.
I'd say something that Hammertron generally as a club has a real reputation for in their mixed division as well as their opens and their women's division is you can't sleep on them. If you give them an inch, they will take a mile. And I think we saw that in the previous streamed game where the opens team started making a comeback against Dogma when they just sort of shied up a little bit in terms of intensity. So you really got to keep your thumb screws on if you manage to get a lead.
Tiong firing it inside to Bessling, finding Teo Lennartz.
Oh, she thought about going deep to McGuinness, but just not quite.
High
Not
enough to
enough.
hold away.
Hold away does not. Oh, the hold away sends it. It's going to maybe be a little bit short. Nice grab. Nice defense. Good read of the disc. She's going to ball. An absolute pivotal handler for Hammertron.
Finding Carter. Carter and ball. Again, the dynamic duo of handlers. Finding to get open. Great pressure from
Really
Tiong.
wanting that. Oh, get Taylor Nuts run through D on Perry.
And she's hunting for those. Taylor Lennartz has that fifth gear. She can kick in when she needs to.
You
Can't sleep on it.
You can't sleep on it. You can't pause. You can't wait for the disc to come to you in Div 1. Div 1 is coming for you instead.
Tiong engaging Taylor Lennartz. Nice centering pass, opening up the options. Swinging to hold away. Hold away saying no.
Oh, but
Finding
she wants
Taylor
that
Lennartz.
one
Oh,
instead.
what a nice leading pass.
Beautiful. Perry's struggling to keep up with Taylor Lennox's quick turns.
Finding Tiong. And I love Tiong's slicey throws around.
Beautiful.
Nice. Her step out and her balance, I think, really a testament to the flexibility, the importance of flexibility in ultimate. Her step out and her balance there with her backhands, whether she's going around or the insides, makes her such a formidable handler. And great execution there on the inside.
Just a fantastic shot, and I'm sure we'll see more of them. I think we saw quite a few in the earlier streamed Cannons game.
Now, a much-needed point for them as Hammertron has been up a few points. Cannon showing that they're still, they're not going to let more of that happen. They can't sleep on it. Kat Taylor Lennartz again showing that she's very much awake right now. And a strong defensive line as Cannons are now going to come out. I really enjoyed before just the variation. Right off the bat, they threw a zone, just challenging the Hammertron offense to think about what they were doing to crack that open. But I don't know, when you have players like Carter and Simone Ball who are so experienced, also with a really short roster, you're allowing them to find the space, you're allowing them to save their legs, and you're allowing them in really calm conditions to make the throws we know they have. It's an interesting decision. Looks like they're opting for match.
You would essentially be relying... Oh, what a one-handed grab. What a sneak. Oh, my goodness. Noemi Hoovling picking that up. A little bit of a contact downfield. There might be a little bit of talk, but I'm not sure there was a formal call.
Really, really interesting offense they're running. I'm really enjoying the way Hammertron is setting this up. A lot to parse through, but Hoovling with a disc.
Yeah, Grace! Woo!
We can hear the fans from the sideline supporting the players on the field. Hoovling now on the sideline looking for options. A massive downline fake.
Oh, she wants Hogan.
She does. A nice around. Finding Hogan in the middle of the field.
And that spectacular grab before was from Jourdain.
Can you expect anything less from a Mahuika player? That's Sanders taking to the skies to hit it out of bounds.
Here we go. Who's going to be bringing... Oh,
It looks like Mance is going to pick up the disc.
looks like it to me too.
A lot of people on this really tight sideline. We've got Amoeba hailing from Wellington versus
Big
Nexus
swing.
on the other field.
And that was Sanders with the disc looking downfield. Chamber. Oh, there's some sort of foul. Perhaps an offensive foul, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be just that Jourdain thought she was Taylor thought she was legally positioned, and then perhaps Mance coming through and initiating contact. But difficult to see from here, obviously.
It's rare to see those offensive fouls on the throw. Rare that the mark is standing in one spot and not moving, and that the handler moves into them. But it does happen from time to time.
And it looks like that one will be contested.
Chambers swinging back to Mance. She waltzes back over to the sideline.
Sutanovich setting up as her reset. In the downfield in a horizontal. I'm hoping with a horizontal we might see some more big puts because, the weather's beautiful for it. Sun's out, guns out, why not? Sutanovich takes a disc with losing quite a few meters, but I think with Carter on you, you've got to make sure that she's nowhere near that disc. Inside break.
Mance with the insides all day. Just goes wide.
Chambers looking middle. Sanders looking downfield, gets Douglas.
Ken is doing a really great job with the step out, stepping so wide to throw on the open side, getting away from their marks.
Sutanovic sneaks a little forehand up. Oh! Whoa!
Hogan says, no.
Absolute. She knew exactly where someone would want to throw the disc because she's a handler as well. Like, she knows exactly where that disc is likely to be released on. Throws an arm in there. Manages to just no-look D.
We say with the force, you know, you want to be forcing to the open side, but if you can 100% get that block, then take it. Hoovalon with a disc.
Looking for Taylor.
Oh, launches it downfield. It goes high.
Ken Taylor. Oh, no. D'd by Mance.
Mance picking up, stepping out for the swing. Sanders with the disc.
Gets Sutanovic. Sutanovic looking downfield. Cutter on the mark.
Yes!
Oh, big huck.
Oh, nice flat. Can
That's
she run
lovely.
onto it?
Bicky Farr, of course she can.
Easily.
Looking downfield. Oh, she points. She knows what she wants. But a little bit maybe the timing's not quite right.
Sutanovic back to Farr.
Farr to Sanders. There's some interesting movement on the marks. There's some switchy stuff happening.
Yeah, there's a lot of swing. I'm loving it, though. It's really slowing down the downfield movement. You know, there's some wide open swings, but if they can't move it anywhere else, that's still strong defense. Hoovalon on the mark. Sutanovic with the disc.
Slowly pushing cannons to lose some meters. I'm sure they're not worried about it, though. They can get meters usually so easily. So looking for those insides. She wants it. Chambers with the disc. Sanders setting up directly backwards for a bit of a hyper dump.
Losing a few more yards now. But, yeah, much needed center to Sutanovic as she throws an inside.
Oh!
To Jenkins. Easy breaks.
Beautiful.
Oh, love that. To Douglas for the points. Jenkins to Douglas, they were so patient that point, hanging out in the downfield space. So much of that poaching is taking away their cuts as options. But you love to see almost in like a zone-style offense when you have those downfield players that only see the disc when they're scoring the point, you know? But, yeah, really beautiful poise and composure from Cannons to put that point in.
I think there was a microsecond in that play when it was coming through the hands that Kelly Carter was thinking about making a bid, but I think she wasn't necessarily quite sure where the other players were. Like, there was a moment of like, should I? Or that's what it looked like from here. And you know, she's such an athletic player. Can definitely get horizontal. We've seen her lay out, and maybe we'll see in the future.
Firing that inside out, and they really needed that. That made up so many yards. It put it to the break side, and it stopped those poaches that Hammertron was throwing out there, largely shutting down the open side passes.
I like that they weren't flustered at all. That they were being not necessarily forced, but they were moving backwards. They were losing yards, but absolutely not flustered at all. Simply just look for the open option, take the open option, and if it's not open, break it.
And here we're seeing an exciting match that wasn't streamed yesterday, potentially on repeat, as both teams are now at 3 points. Cannons 3 and Mahuika 3.
We see Coach Richard Fernando sneaking off the field with little baby Daisy, a new addition to the family with him and Sam. Very exciting. Congratulations to both of you.
Tiang with disc in hand. She's going to be pulling for Cannons. A strong defensive line out there. No doubt Taylor Nartz, we can also see looking for another sneaky run through D. Mahuika, meanwhile, Hammertron with the corresponding offensive line. We'll see no doubt some of the nice flow, nice movements that we've seen before. Ball centering to Hogan.
Asking just a little bit much of Keita Perry. Former U20 Mungo Party player. But she's putting lots of pressure on the mark. Her and Hogan working really well together.
Nice release from Tiang, finding a wide open Bessling.
Ball, perhaps one of the players downfield doing some switchy things.
Taylor Nartz looking for options. Smith coming all the way under, finding Tiang coming out of the front of the
She's
stack.
looking. And we have Belle Fraser streaking out to the open side.
Cut, Belle.
Big fakes. Ooh! Thought that might be a little bit undercooked, but she reels it in.
Not as much separation on these cuts. Really great to see Mahuika with some hard defense.
Simard throws the pass to... yep. It looks like it's signaled as a point to Taylor Nartz and the captain. Captain walks away with a point. Love seeing Kat Tao Lenartz prove that handlers can go score anytime they like. Her and Chiang are really, really dynamic together, and honestly likely to see more of that.
Yeah. I also want to shout out on the other field, as we mentioned, we have a Wellington matchup, the newest club team, Amoeba, matching up against Nexus, a well-tenured women's team in the club space. Nexus with a few championships under their belt, and again, Amoeba is their first Nats ever as a team. Interestingly, Nexus are up 4-3 at the moment, so it looks like it's a hotly contested match thus far. But yeah, we'll check in when we have additional updates. Exciting to see such a close match happening across the field as well. We're seeing right now cannons and cannons on the screen. There's a timeout that's been called. So cannons have been doing really well at making the connections. What is one thing that Coach Rich Fernando might be talking to the team about, Beck?
I think he'll probably be talking about some of the Hammertron's downfield defense at the moment, because they are doing something a bit switchy. They're doing something a bit different. I wouldn't, he will have been standing on the sideline watching that, analysing that, and sort of figuring out ways to fine-tune their offense to sort of work around that, because with players with so much spatial awareness around themselves, that real depth of experience, like McDonald, Ball, Carter, Hogan even though, there's so many players on that team who will, in a heartbeat, absolutely poach out and get a D if you give them the sniff. And so likely that's one of the things that I think that they'll be talking about refining on offense. But on defense, does anything strike you, Kelsey, that they might be thinking to sort of tweak against this Hammertron team?
There's a few ways they've been coming out on match defense, which I think, again, is really the best option. I mentioned this before, that in such calm conditions with such tenured, powerful handlers across New Zealand, they're representing the team here. We've got Ball and Carter back in the handler space, and as long as those two are there, I don't think that a zone in calm conditions is the best idea. It also gives, again, in a zone, there can be a little bit less running offensively, and it gives them a nice chance to find those open pockets and rest their legs. So I'm really happy they're coming down on offense. We know that Cannons really prioritize time in the gym, their pods, drilling, and not just spending time together throwing, but also getting in the best shape they can. So they have a bigger roster, just more legs, more substitutions, and the ability to leave all of it out there for a 3-day tournament. So happy to see they're going match. And again, Taylor Lenartz with some really strong run through D. I think maintaining the pressure on everything that Hammertron's putting up, and not letting loose, just not letting up on the pressure in any way.
This is the game to leave it all out there, given it is the game to get into the semis. It is do or die.
It's do or die, and this is what they've come here for as well, to leave it all out here. And Bex, you were talking about some of the tenured players on the team, a lot of experience, and also a shout out to Emma Taylor and Woodstock Primary Room number 12 for tuning in and watching not only Taylor but also her wider supporting team representing Hamilton and bringing it all out here, the do or die moment for them. Fans not only in the crowd here behind us, but also tuning in from home. Cannons breaks with a cheer. Players bringing the water bottles to the sideline. It's really nice sometimes to have that break, drink some water, also just get a physical reset. Hammertron waiting at the other end of the field, and they'll be coming out on offense. We could see it's a prime time, a really great opportunity to run a pull play. A pull play, of course, a play that you have time to call that usually results in a point. It's usually a string of connections. So we'll see if that happens. Otherwise, they're well drilled. They've got so much deep talent, and getting tricky with the strategies and offering different ideas is not necessarily needed. If you just have the trust in each other, the ability to adapt at whatever's coming your way.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
Carter looking. Hoovlin. Ball.
Carter's
sends it
yes.
deep.
Oh, yes.
Oh, we were just talking about how the other team just proves that handlers can go score. You can see Holdaway and Carter giving each other a bit of a joshing around.
For that matchup.
Yeah, former teammates in other situations have played against each other so many times, and such a friendly, spirited rivalry.
Yeah.
So much fun seeing two absolute talented powerhouses play against each other.
There's that switchiness. Carter Poaching off Holdaway, and Holdaway getting open. I mean, she will, if that's
flaring,
happening.
yeah, flaring for a little bit, but it's they're letting them have width, but they don't want them to have depth.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, just beyond the hands of number 26.
Sutanovic.
Sutanovic.
Ball picking up, centering to Carter.
Oh, Uvelin's gone,
Yes,
and so is the disc.
Wide
open.
open.
Oh, huge defense from Chambers.
Teach height, that's what they say. A really open look, and Carter was completely unmarked there. She had nothing stopping her from throwing whatever she wanted. And, you know, I love that decision making. But hard when there's a player like Chambers, just, you know, even off to the side. Maybe if the disc had a little more angle on it, it would be a more difficult catch to make, but also give a player like Chambers less time to catch up with it.
Interesting seeing the Faitiri Mahuika matchup there, essentially. Oh, nice inside. Moving the disc, big fake. Oh, but maybe gave Uvelin a bit of a smack on the way through. Again, those inside forehands are really getting them a lot of distance.
Holdaway to Chambers. Finding Sutanovic, looking downfield.
That's a lot of juice.
Can get there? Oh, it's a bit too juicy.
You can see Sutanovic's frustration at herself, just giving the ground a bit of a vent on the way through.
And the ground can take it, you know, resulting in the turnover. If it wasn't there, it could have been a catch.
Yeah. Yep. She knows that she's really got to start making sure those are beautifully connected just for those future games.
We have ball now picking up the disc, and she'll be walking it up to the end zone line. So much switchiness, it's hard to tell if Cannons have made these switches. Holdaway, of course, who was previously marking Carter, or if this is the result of some of the things that have been happening with Mahuika, Hammertron. I do really like, again, Hammertron's defense, saving legs. Ooh,
Chambers is hunting for another. Big fakes from Uvelin. Ball. Carter and Uvelin just cutting a little bit to the same space, but patiently just moves out and then straight back in. It's a little bit like the hokey pokey. You put your one foot in, you put your one foot out.
A lot of deep cuts happening, so the stack is quite far back, making it really adding a few seconds to the challenge of getting open. See how there's so much space between Carter and those other players.
Contested grab by Quackenbush. Back to ball. And slightly undercooked to Uvelin.
So much pressure on defense there. A really deep stack.
Holdaway sends one
for King.
King doesn't even get that one much effort. Seeing it going a little, she knows it's too fast.
Yeah, I would like to see Cannons throw King an easier catch. One that's going to, she's wide open. She's so good at scoring points. But there, the first time it went too far for her. Second time too far for her opposite side. I'd like to see be respectful to her legs.
While she may be perhaps newer to some of the viewers at home, this I think is one of her. I'm not sure if this is her debut Div 1, but she has been trialing for the Master Squad. Big, huge play. What a sting! Number 39, Ellie. Huge. Resets back to ball, losing a lot of yards. Hammertron's really got to move back closer to their handlers. They can't leave them out in that no man's land.
Great
or can they? Uvelin just they're connecting.
So many big leg fakes for the block.
Ball going, but
they need to cover Carter closer, I think.
It is hard to do, but like if you can, it does make her life hard.
Yes.
Carter putting the hand up, and the disc goes up. What a grab! Massive.
I did just tell them.
Why
can't they hear you telepathically?
Yeah, why can't it happen? No one's marking her, and she keeps throwing up these epic throws. If you're giving a player like that the whole field, they're not really struggling when there's a mark on, but when there's no mark, it's just, it's wide open. And then if you're not covering her in the deep space, she's such a formidable threat. I don't know. Maybe she's just throwing on the invisibility cloak. Players are losing track. Yeah, something to revisit, though, on defense.
That disc did get a lot of height, a lot of float, and there were bodies under it. There was defense under it, but Carter just picking that position early, holding her space, not letting Cannons players in, and just ripping it out of the sky.
Ripping it out of the sky, yeah, a great point.
I love watching handlers score.
Yeah, it was something she's looked for. She's done that a few times, knowing that ball will throw to her. And there's so much trust and connection when you know, it might be a slightly harder throw, but just knowing that ball recognizes that Carter has, you know, the hops, the speed, the boxiness to be able to, retrieve the disc wherever she puts it.
Yep.
We have Coach Tim Gurman. He has coached Whaitiri in the past as well, the New Zealand women's team, coming out here supporting Hammertron Mahuika with his experience and knowledge as well. So nice to see that being, you know, diversified across the scene. He's not coaching Whaitiri for this upcoming Worlds, but he's bringing those skills, that knowledge to Mahuika as well. So nice to have that presence on the side.
Hogan with the big lofty pull. That's got a nice amount of float. Chiang watches it right into her hands, as you should. Looking downfield. Isn't quite stoked about those options. Looking again. There's Adams.
Nice
So
look.
athletic.
Henson engaging Tail and Arts. Tail and Arts continuing to Smith. And I'm such a fan of Smith's throwing mechanics. It's always a pleasure to watch her throw Tiang with the disc.
Looking back for Smith that gets Tail and Arts. Coming wide. Oh, Hogan with a sniff.
Incredible
she was
pressure
close.
there. Macaulay Scott finding the break
Sees
side.
it.
Simmered with the point. And such a great continuation put to the break side. I love that connection.
And that's a 1 assist, 1 goal for Simard actually so far. In this game, that's only she's been involved so far in almost half of Cannon's points. Fantastic stuff.
So we'll see that one more time. Hogan with an almost attempt, but also, again, a wide open mark when there's no force. It really opens up the break side for so many options. It makes it so much easier to throw whatever you want that we've been seeing. I've been harping on about Kelly Carter being left open on Mahuika, but here we go, same. And when you go for those Ds, whether it's a layout or just overshooting, you do take yourself out of the play for just a moment, and a moment like this can be critical in assisting a point.
If you are D-line, I know that you've got to ride that line of being like, just, you know, overbidding versus, you know, getting the D. Like it's often centimeters, millimeters, you know, in those moments. So I respect her making the bid. I think honestly, they have to get turns, and you've got to put do risky plays if you think you can get a turn from it. If you're on the D-line, D-line are a special breed.
They are indeed. And there's, as I mentioned before, 2 ways to play. You can go for the Ds, or you can play shutdown defense, where you're just not letting your player get open at all. It can be so frustrating to play offense against a defense of that type. Taylor Arts, of course, and Hogan here showing us that they're hungry for those run-throughs, for making options seem open and then shutting it down, nom-nom-nomming those discs. But yeah, where shutdown defense could also be beneficial, especially in tiring out players, again, Hammertron Mahuika, if they want to try to take advantage of that shorter roster.
It would put a lot of pressure on the real veterans of Hammertron's team, who are predominantly in the handle line. Not always. I mean, all of them can go into the handle line, but it would really put a lot of pressure on them. So maybe we'll see more of that. Hogan picking up, looking downfield.
Nice breakthrough.
Carter. Looking down.
Yes.
Oh, she sends a big inside out. That's going to float for days. Oh,
what a
so
treat
nice
to receive a throw like that in the end zone. I love that. It's just a little gift. It's wrapped up with a little bow on top. It's a beautiful, just dropping straight onto you. That inside out edge that Carter put on it is actually so tricky. Of course, it looked easy when it came out. We'll see it one more time from the centering pass to Uvalon, and then the dishy, putting Carter in that power position.
She's got no one on her.
Yeah, this is
Sends that inside out.
consistently
And
happening
Ali
like
just
that.
snags it. Beautiful stuff.
How is Carter feeling right now? Like, is she stoked that she's so poached, or is she like frustrated that she's not being challenged enough? I don't know.
How dare you disrespect me?
Yeah.
Come here, mark me.
Yeah. But yeah, those inside out hucks, we see them sometimes a bit shorter, but putting that on downfield is a really challenging throw to make. So cool to see that out there. Cannons right now.
I mean, it could be perhaps that Cannon's defense are thinking more about, like, look, if we shut down the options that she can throw too, maybe we don't necessarily need to try and keep up with Kalikata, which is very difficult. She turns on a dime. I understand, but still, she can throw her players open is the issue there.
Yeah, it's a mark of a strong handler. When you're throwing your players open, it's a sign of commanding the field like that. As an exciting update, again, from the opposite side of the field, well, we've got this wee break here as players are figuring out what their lines are going to be. Amoeba versus Nexus, again, Wellington versus Wellington. The score is now 6-6. So when we last checked in, it was, I think, 4-5. And there haven't been that many scores points thrown, so now we can see Nexus up one more. But this is a fight of a game.
I think
Nexus,
I saw the young Claridge perhaps just score. It might have been Phillips.
Nexus, I think,
U20s.
favorited to win here. So massive. Amoeba has everything to show and prove. Again, making their mark as their first national championship. We have, in the meantime, Cannons on offense. Tiong looking for options out of a relatively deep vertical stack. It looks like there's been a call.
If it was a pick, but it depends when it was called or whether it affected play. It came right out of the hand of Taylor Arts.
McGuinness making a first appearance right now on the field. Another player representing Aotearoa, New Zealand, with Whaitiri, with the New Zealand women's team. She's been off for most of this game. So here Tiong finding McGuinness under.
I think they're going to accept that it didn't affect play and it was a turnover. Taylor Arts taps the ground to make sure everyone knows they're allowed to move, and here we go. Belle Fraser also taps the ground for good measure.
It's good comms, making sure everyone's on the same page. We have Ball picking up the disc.
Teammates in Whaitiri, but not so on the field today. Taylor Arts and Ball. Huge matchup. Oh my goodness. Number 58's got good hand Quackenbush. I think that's the second spicy take we've seen her throw. Taylor faking the hammer.
Yeah, and I love that the defense turns their head to see if it actually went up.
Oh, big crossfield put too. Oh, but I think there's going to be a pick downfield, but maybe
Didn't
retracted.
impact.
Yeah, didn't affect.
Yeah, and it was a scored point.
Beautiful.
And a really loose mark there. It looked like Ball had so many options. That crossfield throw was so open. I would like to see Cannons pick up on the mark a little faster, just shut things down and be a bit more aggressive in taking away options. Here we see one more time, Ball has the open and the break side available to her. Fraser puts her hands up indicating that there was a pick, but again, as it wasn't her, as it didn't affect the play, wasn't her receiver, stands as a point.
Yeah, I really think that if Cannons want to comfortably move ahead, being able to shut down Ball, Carter, like those are really their key objectives, I think. But I mean, if they do manage to do it, that'll be fantastic. It means that they'll show us the rest of New Zealand Ultimate and our viewers at home how the magic question of how do you shut down Kalikata in some ball.
Yeah, it's $1 million question, hey. Well, an exciting matchup, and once again, this is going to be a game to 15 points. Half is going to be at 8. Right now, neck and neck, point for point. It's a rush to 8. Who can get to that halftime? It's such a strategic moment, getting to that first and feeling like you're coming into the second half on top with that extra point ahead.
We'll see if adjustments can be made, calibrations as the game goes on. Surely coaches from both teams will be watching with eagle eyes, making notes, trying to tweak things just to make their lives easier.
Incredible pull deep into the end zone, but a few quick passes pushes the disc up to the front of the end zone. Sanders with the disc, centering to Mance.
What's not obvious, but Hogan and Farr going in for a disc together. Farr calling a foul, saying perhaps that she went a little bit through her shoulder before getting hand to disc.
Or may have been pushed. We'll see it one more time. So again, coming under, Mance seeing that option. Yeah.
Kind of hard to see from this angle. Kind of hard. Oh, maybe a new one. Oh, no. New angle, no good. Still couldn't tell from the new angle. Yeah,
definitely a hotly contested throw.
What another thing that may not be as obvious at the moment to viewers at home, the wind is actually picking up. There is actually a wind going from the left side of your screen to the right side of your screen, and it honestly, at the moment it's steady, but knowing Wellington, it might start getting a little bit gusty. We'll see if it changes anything or impacts the play in any way. It's not strong yet, but I mean, you shouldn't say that around Wellington wind because it can hear you.
It definitely can. You know, I know the fog in San Francisco has a name, Carl the Fog. I reckon the wind in Wellington needs a name of its own as well. A friendly citizen, you know, member, Wellingtonian member of the city. Looks like the call has been retracted. Yeah, great display of spirit. Time to have that conversation.
Ball picking up the disc. Oh, Evelyn! Yes!
Oh my goodness! Oh!
They've played together so many times, and you can tell she laser eyes.
Shut the front door! Oh, what a poet!
Beautiful, beautiful.
And I love that ball. She saw that, and she just went for different options, looking for the open break, knowing that she was going to put it. Like, she was going to get it there. It was a matter of a forehand or a backhand. Either way, it was going to get there.
You absolutely know that if her mark hadn't taken away that inside lane, it would have gone.
Yes.
It absolutely would have gone. And only because that lane was taken away that she did manage to get around and get that backhand break around instead of the inside forehand. Just spicy stuff.
We've got a timeout called right now. It sounds like Hammertron have called the timeout. Interesting. They're up. Oh, just joking on that. We're not entirely sure if the comms are questioning which team called it. It would make sense if Cannons had called it. Again, Hammertron really putting the hammer to the anvil here. They're heating it up. And it's happening. Yeah, it's happening. So right now, Cannons need to, I mean, fire in their own rights. Figure out, you know, how to stop that, or also just give the team a break, come together, reset together, and figure out what's going on. Here we have the littlest member of ULTI.TV, just saying hi to the fans, getting engagement up. And if you want to help support Felix in doing the best work that he can, the camera crew and all of us here supporting you and bringing you the best of Ultimate, available, streaming free on YouTube, head over to their patreon.com, chuck some spare change their way. Chuck a little bit more. If you have a little bit more to spare, it's greatly appreciated so we can help keep bringing you the best quality Ultimate. Thank you. Again, team huddle. And I really like actually both teams here showing that arms around each other. You know, the support, the physical support they have for each other. And there is research that indicates that teams that are comfortable giving each other high fives and with that physical touch tend to perform better. It shows comfort, just comfort being around each other and trust. And nice to see that with both teams. They're really collectively, they're brought together, they're on the same page, and they're working towards the same goal. Hammertron now with their hands in the middle. Big cheer to come out. 7-5. Are they starting to pull away, Beck?
Difficult to say at this point. I'm trying to remember who started out on offense versus defense because that's going to make a huge difference going into that second half. For example, if Hammertron managed to score this next point, but then are also coming out on offense in the second half, that's possibly going to give them an extra 2-point lead. And the score 5-7 doesn't seem that scary, but the score 5-9, very scary.
It is a bit scary. Yeah, actually it's a good point. So it definitely would have made sense as well if they wanted to call a timeout and just discuss how they're going to cinch this, make this defensive play, and convert that into an offensive point for them to carry them into half. And also a brief commentary on their relatively small roster, their small squad. While that can be a challenge with legs and just maintaining intensity, energy over the course of a 3-day tournament, it can also really just allow for increased connection, increased firing, and just trust with your team. You know, you're not sitting on the sideline cooling down or getting cold. You're getting so many reps, so much play time, so much understanding of what your teammates are looking for, and that can actually it can also be beneficial. It can be a huge asset for a team.
You're always engaged in the play if that's the case, if you have a smaller roster, because often this is something that like good teams will typically do. They will have someone talking to a specific, you know, they have people in buddies and pairs. So someone on field will have a buddy who's off field, often feeding them information about where the disc is maybe, or where their defender is, or if they're engaged by, if the player they're trying to defend is being engaged by the person with the disc. And that means like if you have a smaller roster, you're always talking to the same people. You get ears for them. You can really hear them on field much easier than if it's a constantly rotating cast. And here we see Taylor Nuts picking up the disc. It's looking like Cannons are sticking with that vertical look. McGuinness makes a cut, but it goes instead to Macaulay Scott, looking back to Taylor Nartz.
A bit of a zipper play there with an open side cut, break side cut. One coming. Yeah,
McDonald almost there. She is a sprinter. You've got to be wary. And again, Macaulay Scott.
She's really working on offense right now, finding those open options for the handlers.
Chang.
A lot of really deep stack for Cannons.
Yes, Taylor Nartz looking break, sends it, but just not enough air under that
really
disc.
Deep look. I wish they would have brought the stack under a little bit. We were seeing so much movement, especially from Macaulay Scott, and she was cutting from the front of the stack, indicative of, maybe it being a little bit too far. If they'd brought it under, I think it would have allowed for more cuts from the back, which is cleaner. Generally how you want to be cutting out of a vertical stack. You have so much more vision of the field than out of the front, where you might be cutting people off. Taylor Nartz on the mark, and we have Carter with a disc.
Hogan.
Yes.
Big hack.
Oh, it's what you want to
this
see.
way.
McGuinness in position.
Oh no! Goodness,
Everyone
both players
taking
getting a hand to the disc.
bites
That was
of the apple, yeah.
I believe that was Perry.
Taylor Nartz.
Perry and Ellie.
Oh,
yeah.
sorry. Tiong faking the deep and engaging Taylor Nartz.
Can't quite get her around Carter. Sends. The defense is so good that we're seeing these Hail Mary hucks on still 9.5.
Yes, they're really the players. They need to respect the handlers more. These handlers are getting let out to dry, whether Carter down there or Tiong with the disc here. Really strong defense, and I love that from both teams.
We did ask for it. We asked for them to put better defense on the handlers, and they're putting the thumb screws down. They're making it difficult for them, and you can see how that's generating turns downfield.
Taylor Nartz on Carter with the disc. She'll be picking it up and bringing it. Looks like they're trying to figure out where it may have gone out of bounds as it floated down the field.
No, little bit of an execution error there, uncharacteristic for Carter.
Cheong trying again. So the wind picks up a bit more gusty. McGuinness on the far side, finding Tiong back in the middle of the field. Nice mark from Hogan, taking away so many options. A lot of switchiness, gets turned around, finding Tiong, looking for Taylor Nartz again. Tiong trying to move Carter out of her way.
Hogan looking again. She's been hunting for those run-throughs.
Oh,
Carter.
Nice opening.
McGuinness, that's beautiful.
And that's such a classic way to score points.
Big swing across the field means that all the defensive set up on the side of the field that's closest to where the disc is, and that's where in their mind it is. And so when the disc moves so quickly across the field, it usually means that if you don't have really, really heads-up defense, you're going to be out of position.
Yeah, exactly. It's really intelligent offense. And yeah, love to see that clinical, clean point coming out of Cannons. Which is also like, they just took a timeout and Cannons ran with a few turnovers, which I don't love to see out of a timeout.
Not quite as clean as we might like, but we'll get there. They will get there, I'm sure.
Nice, strong finish, though. So now Hammertron, Mahuika with a slightly shorter path to take half if they would like at 8 points. So previously they would have had to work through a defensive point and then engage on offense. Here, they just need to maintain possession, maintain this offensive line if they want that. Meanwhile, Cannon's looking to keep this half alive. The score now is 7-6.
While not obvious, particularly right at the moment, when the wind is picking up, it is blowing left to right. So that means that if it picks up again this point, it is likely that Hammertron will be going in a downwind direction, which usually means that the wind will push the disc a little bit further, a little bit faster, and often down quicker. So you've really got to have zippy legs to make sure you secure those long catches if they go up. So we'll see if perhaps maybe Hammertron looking to do a set play. I think one of the earlier points where we talked about a set play beforehand, it looked like it bounced between Ball, Uvelin, and Carter, and I don't know if it's just because they played together so much, but it looked a bit pre-planned. Like, I think they had the idea, look, we'll bounce it between these players, and whether Uvelin or Carter gets free, one of them is going deep. But we'll see if that's the case this time.
Yeah, a bit of a pearl. Oh my gosh, I think you've called it, Beck. I think you've absolutely called it.
We see that she wants it, but I think Cannons knows.
Nice defense on that, but the side stack again, everyone's cleared out of the way to isolate these options. We see Carter going deep, and that's Sun, I believe. Yep, Sun with the disc, a great bailout cut.
To Taylor. Taylor looking downfield.
Nice movement. The whole team being engaged here.
She knows ball's there if she wants it. And
Nice
gets her.
movement.
Nice grab. That's got to be Carter.
Yes, yes.
Beautiful.
Oh.
Big swing across the field. Sun looking for a disc. Doesn't get it downfield. Taylor going. Doesn't get it. Oh,
Nice
she
coverage
wants ball,
by
but
Holdaway.
yeah, Holdaway absolutely shutting that first easy pass down.
They need to
Evelyn.
lose some
Oh,
hearts.
Evelyn with a laser feet.
It's no issue when you are there, when you are, you know, when you've got a lightsaber and you're chucking that down, and Evelyn is a Jedi Knight. Yeah, not an issue. Love to see that. Beautiful point from Hammertron Mahuika to take half. Wow.
Massive props to Evelyn. She MVP from Battle of the Bridges. Has a kid under 1, I believe. Trialed for Whaitiri, like, I think it was 6 or 7 months postpartum. Makes the team. No stress. She's just a machine.
Just a machine.
What a queen.
Yeah, Hammertron, lucky to have her. We're lucky to watch what she's doing on the field, and we're seeing both teams now taking time for half. This has been the first half of this rumbling matchup between Cannons and Christchurch. Mahuika from Hamilton, and I'm Kelsey Pile.
And I'm Vic Soper.
We'll both be right back once the teams have broken.
We are a group of ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch.
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe, ULTI.TV, the best in the world.
Become a member and
fund
fund
our
our
work
work.
to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the ultimate world and beyond.
Kia ora koutou, welcome back to Awakarangi Park in the sunny Upper Hutt. We're here in the second half of the game to get into the semis. It is do or die here between Cannons and Hammertron Mahuika. We're looking at a tough scoreline to come in on, 8-6, and I believe that Hammertron, they're going to be coming out on offense. So that we could see that that margin increase to 3 points as long as Mahuika manages to keep it nice and clean.
And you know, in sports science, they talk about, I think there's been some research into like the athlete gene, the ability to step up, like we saw like Michael Jordan in try or die situations, just step up in times of pressure. And we've seen Hammertron doing that this game. You know, there was, as we've mentioned, the grinding matchup yesterday. Hammertron showing that they are hungry to take this out, to get to semis. You know, pardon me, to move on to the next level. The sun is coming down, a bit of shade from the trees, but apart from that, it's a beautiful, beautiful conditions. The wind is similarly gusty and dying, depends on how it's feeling in the moment. Bit of emotional turmoil maybe, classic Wellington wind, but Cannons will be coming out on defense.
There's to be fair, there's no significant wind to speak of right now, and it's been that way for most of the game, and you can see that from some of these beautiful hucks that are going up.
I would like to see now on defense some tighter match defense between the teams, but we are seeing a zone, it looks like, an arrowhead with Fraser, a massive mark. She's got such long arms. She's challenging to throw around. An open and break side covering that. We have a triangle kind of, a diamond downfield with Holdaway in the mid-mid. Taylor Nartz on the
really
wing.
Gets bailed out by McDonald. Thank goodness for that cut. McDonald knows that. Huge huck goes up. Who's that going to? Perry?
I love.
Just out of the hands of Perry.
That was a difficult take. It was a difficult catch to make. She was in position to do it, and you know, next time I think it will be a take. I loved that decision.
Yeah, you'll notice that with the sun coming down, she would have been looking almost directly into the sun to catch that. So it just adds that extra layer of complexity and difficulty. Hold away with the disc now, looking downfield.
Yeah.
Oh, that forehand break. Straight to Adams, looking again.
Finding Taylor Nartz. Nice give and go movement.
They're looking really smooth. Hold away, again looking deep.
And again, a really deep stack. Isolating.
McDonald and again, that forehand break.
Smith finding Hansen.
Breaking deep into the field.
Nice movement right now. Calm, chilly movement. Tiang with the disc. Engaging Taylor Nartz, who takes it far back.
McDonald on mark. You can see these slightly sagging off their off those handlers, trying to make those downfield options really difficult, and it's working.
Listening to my answers, I do really like that the marks are setting quite fast. Nice.
Just an execution error, and it goes to ground.
Yeah, giving Carter another chance. We've got big mark. They're expecting a hawk to go up.
Well, you can see how many Hammertron players have gone deep.
Is it going to fade out of bounds? Oh, this breaks my heart.
There were 3 Hammertron players going deep there. You know that they knew.
You know that they knew. But if anything, also a massive territorial move by Carter there. She gets it so far away from her end zone, that dangerous space. And now Cannons need to move it all the way back up the field.
There's some sort of discussion happening on field. I'm not 100% sure what that discussion is. We haven't seen hand signals as yet from this angle.
It could be questioning maybe where it went out of bounds, if defense touched it, where it might be coming in. And in the meantime, we have a vertical stack set up downfield for when Cannons do bring it in.
We can't quite hear what they're saying.
Yeah, so right now, again, trying to figure out where to bring the disc in, where it might have gone out of bounds. Looks like they've resolved it. Great comps between both teams. I think it was, so they'll be bringing it up. Or maybe whether or not Tiang or any defense touched the disc. Of course, if defense touches the disc when it goes out of bounds, the disc is brought in where that play was made. Because it seemed to be relatively clean, Cannons get a few more yards out of that.
They didn't have to put hand to disc to do it. They knew it was out of bounds, unfortunately, for Hammertron.
Tiang, no doubt, looking to engage with Taylor Nartz.
Laser.
And great continuation from Holdaway.
Holdaway, one of those
Smith.
players who's definitely got the do-or-die gene.
Yeah, she definitely does. She played with the Asia Oceania All-Stars, really bringing that experience and, abilities to the field right now. Taylor Nartz
Cannon's handler's moving. Oh, it's huge.
Launching
There's going to be a lot. There's going to be bodies. Oh. That's going to be a foul called.
Houvelon looks like she had her eyes on the disc as it was coming down. Not really aware of where the defensive player was, and just got tangled. The feet get tangled up, so it's a foul. Great hand signals from the field. Thank you all for that. Foul, no contest.
Yeah, I think Houvelon thought that she would be moving a little bit more quickly than she was. Yep, they are. They do need to tap it in, and then everyone can move once the tap does occur. Here we go. Everyone's in. The disc is in. Disc goes back to Holdaway. Holdaway's looking wide. Chung's cutting down the field. Oh, beautiful high release backhand.
Nice, and Tiang with the points.
Delicious.
And we just had an update also from the other field. Looks like Nexus is starting to pull away after a timeout. They are now up 10-8. So still
close.
A really tight game between both teams.
Close.
Love to see how strong and evenly matched Wellington is here, repping, at this level. A hotly contested game between both teams.
I think the saying's keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer. Both friends and enemies on those teams, I guess, at this point in time, just because they know each other well. A lot of them have played with each other in the past, and they've played against each other now quite a bit too. So they know each other's playbooks. It makes it really, really difficult compared to sometimes inter-regional matches versus intra-regional matches.
Definitely across all the time that so many of these experienced players have played, whether in leagues together, whether on teams together, at the world stage together, they know what they're looking for and what they're matching up against. A great point by Cannons, though. Now they'll be coming out on defense. The score again, 8-6, so Cannons will need to work just that little bit more to continue to close that gap. Sorry, I think the score is 7-8.
I'm not sure it's been updated. Oh, there we go. Now it is. Here we are. Hammertron know this half is they've really got to put the hammers down if they want to make sure that they come away with the win. It's easy to have a little lead. It's hard to, especially in a game versus a team as deep as Cannons, manage to come away with a bigger lead in that second half. And Cannons is proving that.
Right now, what I've really loved from both teams, and we saw that especially when Carter was hucking the disc, Tiang was hucking the disc, there's been such hard defensive pressure from both teams. So expecting to see a bit more of that now, that hard defensive pressure from Cannons really shutting down so many options. And again, I don't want to see Carter left out to dry, left with no options downfield, but props to Cannons for really taking everything away to add that challenge.
Here comes the pull.
And that is Becky Farr launching it downfield. Carter off to the races with Simone Ball. Ball finding Houvelon in the inside. Oh, sorry, that's Hogan on the inside. Maringi Hogan launches it to Sun and through the hands. That breaks your hearts.
I think Cannon slightly wising up to the players they know they need to shut down. Carter, though, big pressure. Doesn't matter.
An incredible catch. I think that was Jenkins. It's
Jenkins.
Yeah, and I love that hog as well. They know each other as players, and Cannons rush onto the field. The score is now tied, folks.
Huge game.
Taking half was everything. But now Cannons have scored 2 unanswered points in the second half.
You can hear Dogma on the sideline with their cheering for Cannons. Good to see the Opens players supporting their women's counterparts here at Awakurangi Park.
I've especially enjoyed the Canterbury call, which you often hear at Canterbury Crusaders games, of course, looking to another sport, rugby, and great to see that appropriated here as well on the Frisbee field. Cross-sport cheers. Yeah, turning up every way. Anyway, so really right now, Mahuika they've let a few points down. It seems like they're struggling a bit more with open options, and the baubles that we're seeing are increasing, through the hands to the turf. It's starting to plague them a little bit.
It's hard to see, but it looks like it's becoming a little bit of a game of attrition. Cannon's putting so much pressure on the Hammertron offense, just making their lives really difficult, knowing that Hammertron's got a short roster. They've got some key players that the disc will always touch their hands in a point. It's almost impossible that you'll see a point from Hammertron that doesn't go through the hands of at least Ball or Carter or Overland. Like, it's... And they know that. They know that these are our key matchups we have to shut down, and we have to make them work really, really hard, because we know that there's a whole half of a game left to go.
You know, and I also want to say this, though. It's hard to say. No doubt Coach Tim Gurman knows this as well. But when you're in a situation like this, like Hammertron, this is the best situation to be making those mistakes, to be they're not down, but to be tied, to have given up those few points, because they have the control to fix that, to change that. They're making those issues and they can clean it up. As we're seeing right now, some beautiful movements. Ball with a disc, launching it inside out.
That's
my gosh.
Who's that going to? Oh!
Massive.
Citanovic.
Yes, Citanovic, she's everywhere. Incredible deep recognition. She knew she was last back and streaking to that break side to make up the yards. I loved that look from Ball, though.
Absolutely. If Hammertron wanted to come down with that, they really had to go and take their position as early as possible. Big gainer.
Oh, it would have been so fun to see that continuation. Douglas holsters, looking for options, finds Holdaway.
I think sensibly, knowing that they're going to have to be safe when they've got the disc, because Hammertron can score in one single pass. Citanovic winding up for a huck, doesn't send it. Looking back middle, looking downfield. She's getting a little bit stuck. The stall count must be high.
Great defense right now by Hammertron.
Citanovic again, looking downfield.
Nice find to Douglas downfield. Douglas assessing options. Again, some strong defense. Finds the around to Far. Farnan and Holdaway. Would it be anyone else tearing it down from the skies like that? I mean, it absolutely could be. They've got a wealth of players like that. Just emphasizing her ability, her strength in doing that. And now 3 unanswered points. Cannons are up.
A playful little flip. I think that was from Sanders, a little cartwheel. Just showing off for the crowd, showing off for the camera. Speaking of showing off for the camera, there's the Dogma boys cheering for Cannons. Crikey, pan away, they're getting a bit lewd.
Great celebration, great excitement. It's so fun to see that echoed across the field, you know, whether on the field to the sidelines. It's everyone's point. It's a point for the whole club, whether opens or women's teams. But yeah, now Cannon's looking no doubt to repeat, to ride this train. They were on the comeback train. It's so much more than that now as they're eking ahead with a lead. Yeah, it's a matter of staying on that train, and you know how long it takes trains to stop. It can take kilometers. So that's some massive momentum that they've built up. Again, 3 unanswered points, so it's really a matter of Hammertron, you know, as that machine that they've built to figure out how to throw a cog into Cannon's offense. How can they do it?
They really...
I guess by not turning it when they're on offense is one way to start.
They really have to tighten up. They have to acknowledge that Cannons is lifted in this half and lifted the game to a new level, and they have to get to that level too. And if they don't, it's just going to be a game of 1,000 cuts for the rest. We're going to see Cannons pull ahead if they don't lift.
Oh, I cringe even hearing that. I hope not. A sad way to go. I want to see them leave it all out here. Carter with her hand up indicating that she's ready. To bring it up firing.
Possible big offside there. Maybe Cannons could review that in the air footage. Hogan taking the disc, looking downfield for Carter. It looks like there's a zone happening. I don't think Hammertron was necessarily prepared for this. They don't have enough handlers back. Kelly Carter with a huge extension, one-handed snag.
Excellent job reeling that in.
Her and Hogan going to work.
And there's not a lot happening there. There's not a lot of support for them, and it's hard to see Hogan where are her options. She's trying to engage Carter, goes for the push pass.
They need someone to come back. Oh, and just out of the hands of Quackenbush. They needed help. They needed someone to come back.
Yeah, this is a train.
That train, it's got a lot of freight. There's a lot of freight in the carriages.
You can't just put a penny on the tracks.
Yeah. Ooh.
This zone, which in the beginning they were breaking down so efficiently, just finding the open options, is now it's just cracking open what Hammertron had. Whether it's fatigue, I don't know, confusion, just a lack of focus right now. I think they've really gotten into the minds of Hammertron as a team, and Hammertron is, struggling to find the open players.
There is a huge momentum shift that we're feeling. It's electric in the air right now. Credo as a club on the sideline, the opens team just getting excited. Not as excited as Cannons, though. They're stoked for their players. And I think that was simmered with the score. And that makes it at least 3 points that I've distinctly noticed that she's been involved in either as a receiver or as a or from the assist, which makes it about a third of Cannon's points. So working hard out there.
Working hard, definitely a workhorse. And one thing I would like to see Hammertron do, maybe in this offensive point, really intelligent timeout call. When a team is scored, oftentimes 3 is the magic number for unanswered points. 4 definitely still a smart time to make that call, just to try to take a break, stop that momentum. But I would like to see, and I hope that Hammertron, Mahuika right now is addressing the lack of support for handlers, the need to make cuts and make movement happen. Sometimes even when you're still fully covered in the downfield, simply making movement happen, making a cut that is fully covered, but still just opening it up options, making movement can be necessary to open up options to the rest of your team. But standing there stagnantly so far back, everyone seems to be taking themselves out of play, and that makes me feel quite sad.
It's really difficult. I mean, when a zone is played on your team, it's really, really difficult to find expansive or unpredictable handler movement if you only have 2 handlers in the handler line. You need more than 2. You just, you do. I often want to sort of go backwards a little bit, so then you can get a really, really big swing. And if you don't have that pivot point handler, you really can't get to the other side of the field. And if the other team knows that, they only have to defend one side of the field because you can't get it to that far side. You're making their job easy. Don't do that.
Don't do that, yeah. So right now, can Hammertron get their heads up? Can they pick up and make this game theirs that they need to close down that lead that Cannons is so expertly and efficiently rolling in their momentum? Thus far, it's been unanswered for Cannons in this half.
7 points between Hammertron and Semis. If they could score 7 in a row, they'd get there. I mean, a difficult ask to ask of any teams here, given how hot the competition is this year. And we've seen that with teams. Everyone so far in the tournament has had a loss. Every single women's team has lost to another team.
Yeah.
So exciting going into tomorrow. So exciting at this game as well. It's just, whew, what a competition this year. I'm loving it.
Yeah, I think a really good point that we saw Misfits, a team hailing from Auckland, women's team. They were rolling everyone. They've been coming out firing, beating all the top teams that we've seen with championships. Nexus, they beat Blueberries, the fast Blueberries, I believe. And then Cannons came out and beat Misfits, Cannons who'd also lost previous games. And so just so many upsets, so much turbulence happening across these pools. Hogan's pickup.
Oh my goodness, look at how far away that Hammertron stack is. Look at that zone. They need someone else back. They cannot wait. Preble coming back. She's wide high side. Oh, drops it in their own end zone. That's so difficult.
It's
so
a tough place
frustrating
to be,
as a team, just seeing these little errors sneak in.
It does feel like right now, while Cannons are coming out and they're executing and they're firing, it also feels like Hammertron is giving them a lot of options. Like they're stepping back a little bit. And giving space for Cannons to push into. Beautiful connection from Mance. Great cuts. So I think a really good thing to remember right now is also when you're on offense and you make a mistake, it's really effective to think about that frustration and channel that energy into playing defense.
You gotta play defense.
Yeah,
you gotta go as handy as you can if you want to get that disc back.
Mental switch, yeah. But beautiful pickup by Mance, and I love that quick movement right out of the stack. Despite the poaching happening, just great recognition into space, quick movement, and an easy pop pass for the point. So yeah, another great point to Cannons, and I think also a testament. When you're on the Frisbee field, regardless of who you're playing, the best thing you can do in every situation is to play your best, and that's the most respectful thing. And if a team is down and if a team is not playing to their best, it can be really challenging to pick up the momentum even more and play to your best, not to play down to any level. So Cannons right now showing no difficulty in coming out with precision, coming out firing, where Hammertron is we're seeing cracks in the facade, and that's really hard. Cannons just becoming more intense and more clean and playing better, almost because of it.
With their tails up, that zone is becoming really, really intimidating. And while that drop was unfortunate, Preble was in the right space. They need someone else to come back and come on this near side of the field to make sure that they can have those expansive options. Like, that's free space. And I mean, I've said it, I think, in earlier games. Whenever a team takes something away, they have to give you something back. They have to give you something else. So sometimes you just have to take what you get, work with it until you get what you want. And that's going to be ball with the disc. Looking for Carter. That zone is back. We've got Sanders. Carter with the disc now.
Carter faking a blade, looking for open options, finding the swing.
They've finally got Taylor back in the handle line with them. They've recognized that they need 3.
Really good recognition
3.
here. Yeah, so people
She's
cycling in and out. Now centering to Carter.
Hammer. Let's go. Oh, what a grab!
A really great clean play by Tiang there, and that's
yes,
the throw.
Sam! Oh, can
Uvalon
bring
onto
it
the
in? There's so much juice on that.
Floats out of bounds, and now it's going towards that field. I'd really also like to bring attention to, we just had an update. Nexus has gone 5 unanswered points in a row on the opposite field, so the score is now, I believe, 14 to 8 to 9, which is similar to what we've seen here. Cannons with 5 unanswered points.
Oh, goodness.
Great movement from Cannons. Really great throw from Taylor Nartz, finding Bestling downfield. Bestling now engaging Taylor Nartz. Great strike cut.
Update on the wind. There is some. It doesn't matter at the moment. Simard with the disc. Looking downfield. She's not getting what she wants. She's engaged Taylor Nartz. But Taylor Nartz. Oh, beautiful.
Oh, nice
That's
catch.
hot.
Yeah,
Manages
such a good
to
point.
sneak it just in front of Carter, who had poached off her player to try and put pressure on that. But not enough to stop Taylor Nartz.
Yeah, great patience in the end zone, great poise, really nice movement, good execution on the throws. You know, this is... I don't mean to detract from it anyway, but it's what I expect. You know, it's really nice movement from Cannons. I do also want to bring attention to the point that there was some give and go. There was a turnover there. Oh, well, no, we've seen turnovers, but there was a little bit more happening on offense and defense. Hammertron picking up a little bit more and challenging that point a little more, which might be the beginnings of a growing revolution, you know, the beginnings of switching it back.
I liked to see all the movement. I liked to see what happened. It was just the execution on that last throw that sort of meant that there was a turn. I mean, if that disc had a little bit more inside on it, it would have held and it would have floated out for Uvalon, who's just got absolute nos in the canisters. She would have caught that, no worries. And I think perhaps one of the reasons it did fade is the wind is picking up a little bit. It is a crosswind at the moment. It's coming from the bottom side of your screen to the top side of your screen. It's a little bit of a diagonal, so sort of heading, I guess, a little bit left to right, a little bit bottom to top. So it's picked up, and if people aren't registering that the wind is picking up, you know, those throws that previously in like perfectly still conditions would have worked, just being pushed out of the field, and now in these slightly gustier conditions. This field's notorious for having less wind in sort of the first 5 to 10 meters, and as soon as it gets up a little bit, as soon as the disc gets a bit higher, just because of the way the bank and the building is shaped nearby, there's more wind higher up. Hogan with the disc now, looking downfield.
Engaging options, finds Carter.
That's nice with the one-handed snag. Carter sends it. No hesitation. Is it going to stay in? Who's under it? That's a lot of players on it. She's in. I don't think she realized she was in until head up. That's Big B. I think that's at least her second point of the game. We
And that
love
puts
it.
a smile on my face. And a nod to Carter's execution on that throw. The last time we saw her do that, it floated out of bounds, as Beck was just talking about the slight crosswind that's picked up. But great execution to make it come back inbounds. You know, defense having a bite out of it, but not getting a hand to it. And great read by Hammertron. Oh, smile to my face.
2 Hammertron players under it.
And a nice catch there. Now 1 point on the board for Hammertron Mahuika this half. I love it.
This is exciting stuff. And again, I think I said it at the start of this game, Hammertron as a club, as a region, like you cannot count them out ever. You always have to be going 100% if you want to keep them from catching up. Whether they're ahead or behind, they always grind.
I love that. Was that an original? Was that right now?
Yeah, that was
Wow, Beck's sober, folks. Whether ahead or behind, they're always on the grind.
They
Don't
are.
forget it. Yeah, associated with Hammertron Mahuika. Yeah, women
Such a hard-working team.
Yeah, definitely showing everything, looking to leave it out on the field. And again, it's now or never. With this being the quarterfinal matchup, the team that wins this will be progressing on to the semis tomorrow, the last day of the championship. We have a strong offensive line right now from Cannons, looking to showcase more of the great connections we've seen.
Hogan sends the pull. Fielded by Sutanovic. Looking at Mace. Looking downfield. Oh, cheeky inside.
Chambers finding King. Sutanovic.
Moving really fluidly through a lot of their players.
She engages Mance. Great mark.
Good pressure by...
Yeah, a poachy
Quackenbush.
defensive play, but Mance finding Sutanovic nonetheless. Swinging back to Mance. A lot of give-go movement between these two right now. Some nice connections.
Quackenbush shutting down that down-the-line cut. Impressive. Oh, Hogan.
Finding Chambers with the around. Fakes the big backhand. And
looking for a foot, Hogan.
again, a really deep stack. Legrell looking for an under, but the stack is so deep. There's not as many options. I'm not sure if they're trying to isolate someone, but difficult for options to open up. King coming under. Coming around.
Is that Sutanovic? Almost travels, but stops herself. Mance with the disc again. Looking downfield. There's a lot happening.
There is
Far's going deep, but there's enough sort of poachy, switchy stuff downfield that maybe that's what's making it so difficult for the Cannons handlers to really connect with their downfield.
I love this defensive pressure, that Hammertron is bringing. Really shutting down a lot of options. Difficult again with a relatively deep stack. Hard to also make deep looks out of a deep stack, but Mance is looking for it.
Oh, surely Taylor has that all day, and she does. A bit of contact on the afterwards. Can't see exactly what happened from here, but Taylor got double hands to that.
Some conversation again on the field is between both players.
And a handshake.
Mance hungry for that option, fires it.
I think that downfield defense from Hammertron just frustrating those handlers a little bit, and that it gets to the point where you're sort of like, come on, let's get something moving, and they send something that just not quite on.
Nice to see the handshake afterwards.
Oh, and the disc is back in.
It looks like it's standing as a turnover.
Yep. I mean, I don't see it. I didn't see from here what happened exactly with the aftermath, but Taylor had position by the looks of it from here and got two hands to it before the Cannons player was there.
And I love this. Hammertron has just played some such strong defense. We've been wanting this the second half, and they've
Evelyn's
stood
gone.
up.
Yes, I'm sending it. Is it going to come back in though?
Can it? Oh my gosh! Yes, Noemi.
She's so good. She's so good. And she sends it
into space.
Oh, but she's already upset with herself. As soon as that just came out of her hand, she knew that it wasn't coming back in.
I love the thought though. It was such a nice continuation. There was so much spacing. Again,
There appears to be some kind of call.
execution. Yeah. So
What is happening?
not sure what the conversation's about. We'll see that one more time. Oh, I love it. I love it. Noemi.
Just
Sorry,
riding
Hulalon.
the line.
Yeah. And great footwork. Staying in. Even little Leon has something to say about that great down the line throw.
Leon only expressing mild disappointment that they just couldn't connect on that second pass. Foul on the throw, I believe. Interesting. I think they've agreed that even though there may have been a foul on throw originally, still connected with their downfield, and the players, it didn't affect that continuation.
Yeah. So the turnover stance. This does make sense to me. And nice. It's always nice as a commentator to feel like your opinion aligns with the opinions of the players on the field. Really love those connections. Heartbreaking to see it missed. But Cannons is going to have another opportunity on offense here. Hopefully more.
More of that suffocating Hammertron defense that we just saw. It was so good.
Yeah, just challenging those throws that the Cannons were putting up. Some really beautiful handler movement coming out of it. Farnan engaging the reset.
They're hard no around mark. Sutanovic manages to reel that one in. Oh, Hogan hunting, but Chambers unfazed.
Nice.
Oh, out of the hands of Far.
Yeah, and that's the defensive pressure that has generated that turnover, I think. And a bit of a misfire as well, but as long as they can keep that pressure up, it's going to make it a little bit harder for Cannons, showing they're still in this. Houvelon.
Oh, she had 3
Triple
Cannons players around her.
Yeah.
They were interested. Houvelon again sends a big rolly forehand. Is that set
Oh
ball?
my goodness gracious.
Look, she's like fine wine. She just gets better the more she ages.
I love that. Yeah, a great look, and it's always so fun as a handler. You know, we've seen Carter cut deep for those, and Ball as well, knowing that she can score the point. You know, she's not just here to assist. She's here to lead. She's here to score. She wants stats in every category.
She's an absolute veteran on the team, showing her class, leading by example from the front. And what more can you ask?
What more can you ask? Yeah, so nice to see some more contests on the field, you know, contested defense resulting in offense. And I'm not sure what changed. It feels like Hammertron has picked up the energy a little bit. Like they faded for a moment, but they're out here to grind. Yeah, and a lovely point. So now Cannons, they have a little bit of a lead behind them. They've done such a good job between half. You know, so often half can be such a strategic move. They said, you know, well, Hammertron took half. I'm not sure what they talked about during halftime, but goodness, it worked for them. So yeah, now with, again, a little bit of a lead, it's up to Hammertron, Mahuika to continue putting more points on the board if they can. I'm excited to see what Cannons is going to put out on offense to respond. And we can see in the far corner there, the New Zealand Opens team, Taniwha, warming up to play against the Barbarians. An eclectic team of players from across the motu, across the country. Yeah, putting to task to challenge what the Opens team, Taniwha, has to offer.
Quite a few Manuka men's matchup players on that Barbarians team also selected to play for New Zealand, just in the mixed division. So you'll see those different matchups happening. Can't wait to see the absolute class of these players selected to represent New Zealand. Pull goes up, coming down into the hands of Taylor Arts.
This is the game what we're keen to see right now. A leading pass.
Leading past a Chiang Houvelon, sort of giving that a sniff, but knew that she wasn't really close enough to make a bid safely.
Chiang faking the break side. Engaging Taylor Arts, great defense by Ball, face defense, and such good handler recognition, just putting it into space. You know, while a face mark can be hard to get open on, it's difficult to D the disc if you're looking at your player, not where the Frisbee is. Disc goes
That's
to ground.
down. Just a little bit, just a little bit.
An uncharacteristic ankle biter, from hold away. Oh, in that case, maybe a toenail biter.
Look, we'll have the veterans matchup here. Ball versus Taylor Arts.
Ball. So we've got Taylor Arts with a really, really far away mark. Looks like she's trying to stop any big puts that Ball might be putting up.
It makes sense. We've seen so many good ones from Ball.
We have indeed.
And that's Perry.
Oh,
nice take. Looking downfield for Carter.
This is the offense I want to see.
Oh, nice little slice to Hogan.
Yes, please.
Looking for that front corner, can't get it. Looking down. Goodness gracious, there's cuts everywhere. Oh, that's beautiful.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, Houvelon.
Oh, wow.
That is that 3 on the trot?
Oh.
Is that 3? Look, I will admit, sometimes I cannot count at the moment. I've got a bit of baby brain.
You know what is ultimate Frisbee players counting to 10. I can't go much higher than that. Yeah. But even 3 can be a challenge as well.
Look, sleep deprivation is tough, but I think that's 3 on the trot. That's massive.
And it's so nice to see they're back in here. They're playing that commanding offense. Such great movement. I get so excited. One more time. The disc goes downfield. Hogan with such separation.
So much patience here.
What happened?
So much patience. There's a lot of cuts that develop for her, and they're just none of them are quite on. And then, boom. She sees her option. She takes it.
Trying to keep it as exciting as possible. I'm not sure.
Look, we're getting flustered in the booth.
Oh, indeed.
It's hot in here.
Yeah. They just stood down for a few points. Let Cannons run away with it, and it's just so nice to see the beautiful flowy offense that they showed in the first half to take half. So yeah. I mean, exciting to see Cannons now with a little bit more pressure. You know, on that offense, they were on that train, and that train is slowly slowed down. And it's, not to say it's come to a stop, because, you know, cannons have a lot of power behind them.
Their
They're the
engines
artillery.
are running. They can definitely lift again. They know they can. They've been in positions like this before. I mean, particularly even in, I believe, quarters last year in Div 1, they were versing up against, or maybe, yeah, it must have been quarters, versus Misfits. And, God, that game was an absolute grind. Cannons just coming away with a win. Not by a lot, but, man, tough fight, given that neither team wanted to give an inch. And this is the same as this game right here. It's so exciting to watch. Big pull goes up. Coming down to Chiang. Looking middle to Citanovic.
Citanovic assessing options. A lot of pressure now. That switchy movement that we saw on defense before, Taylor Arts looking for options. Carter taking away that inside, and so Taylor Arts goes for the swing around, finding Holdaway, launches it.
Huge huck. This is a great matchup downfield.
Douglas just sees it into her hands. I love that back to King.
There's a lot of Cannons players downfield. They all sprinted to back her up immediately.
Chambers looking for options downfield. Oh,
Taylor Nuts!
Yeah,
leading pass. Carter scrambling to put a mark on.
Hogan, nice coverage with that strike.
Citanovic wants it down the line. Carter slides. That's a great movement from Hammertron.
Tiang looking for options, trying to move her mark. Again, really great marks right now. I love the pressure that Hammertron is putting on. Both teams a little bit saggy on those marks, but now they've definitely cleaned it up. Carter on Citanovic as she looks break to Tiang to center it.
Watching the downfield, King keeps making herself available, but it's just a little bit too late, or just the handlers don't quite see the cut in time, but maybe, see here, she made the cut in time, but the execution of the throw was just a little bit off. Just as I say that, she keeps setting herself up these beautiful cuts that just don't get seen or maybe get missed for whatever reason. One gets hit, but just mild execution error.
Heartbreaking to see that turn. I really liked the way that Cannons were making those swings, making those options, fighting to get open, and also a massive testament to Hammertron, Mahuika's pressure on defense, taking away everything that they could.
Uvlin's gone, and so is the disc.
Yes, please! Yes,
she's got such a good run. Such a good read. She knows that she doesn't have to worry because her handler, Symbol, wheels, absolute wheels for feet, is catching up, gets the disc, Hogan. And I think that's one of the absolute strengths of this Hammertron offense is that they can get so far down the... Here we go. Oh, surely. Take your time. Take your... Oh, yeah! Oh, my gosh, Jourdain.
And now Cannons? What is happening with this game, my friends? Cannons in the same situation that they were just putting Hammertron in, so now Hammertron is on the... they've gotten on the train. What was the stop? I must have missed it. I blinked and it slowed down. You know, people got off, people got on, and now Hammertron just off to the races. And what can Cannons do? Cannons, you see it in the body language a little bit. Players with their heads down, they're looking at the ground. They need to pick it back up.
Formally, you would see those Cannons players sprinting to high-five their teammates, regardless of whether it was a score or a turn.
And even the Dogma players on the sideline,
Look at that slice.
The energy, they could be chanting, I think, more than ever. Cannons need those Canterbury calls.
They do, but Dogma's gone a bit quiet, and I think that's not
Maybe
really...
they're feeling it as well.
They're feeling it too.
They're feeling the energy that Hammertron's bringing out, but what can Cannons do to shut that down? And I think especially it's that deep connection to Huvalon that...
They need to do something about it.
It's so beautiful to watch.
I mean, she's just I always underestimate how fast she is. I'm always like, surely that's a little bit too fast. Surely that's a little bit too much gas. But she's just got nos. She's got nos in the shoes.
These throws to Huvalon and her beautiful catches to a beautician and make me as pretty as them. I want to look like that, you know?
Take them and be like, yep, this is the picture. This is what I want.
I want to look like a beautiful hawk and an incredible, just zooming onto it, just kicking up into that fifth gear from Huvalon to catch it. Yeah, so I think that could definitely be something that Cannons could recognize. Also, I want to shout out, there's people watching, unfortunately, who couldn't be here, but we do know that the Mahuika coaches, Esther Leong specifically, is on the feed. Shout out as she's looking at the players here, that not only a few of them that are playing out here, but also will be coming up, again, as Beck was mentioning in the Barbarian match against Taniwha, the New Zealand Opens team. Quite a few of those Mahuika players playing with the Barbarians. Shout out to, all the fans. Thank you for joining us for this spicy and exciting matchup. But yes, can Cannons stop the train that now Hammertron is on?
Look, this is... This is such a great game for a stream. This is exciting stuff for us here in the booth, exciting stuff for the viewers at home, and for anyone in future watching this game. Hopefully give credit to ULTI.TV, throw some support their way. They've got a Patreon. Whether you personally want to give them a little bit of cash or maybe your club wants to give them a bit of cash, you can always support them videoing and recording good Ultimate for everyone to view on their channel. Get amongst it.
Get amongst it. So now we have Cannons coming out on offense. It looks like they're in a horizontal stack. Mance, such a pivotal central handler on the team. I've loved seeing her work with Satanovic, especially. Looking for
Chambers.
Yep, finding Chambers. Nice.
Big gainer.
Nice slicey backhand to Far.
Far's looking. Holdaway's free. Chambers.
Isn't she always free?
Slice. Crikey, looking downfield. It's getting a bit frantic there. I like their movement, but you can feel the pressure.
You can feel the pressure.
Big bid from Taylor, not enough to stop that. Chambers.
Contested movements on every look.
There's no call. It feels like players have stopped expecting some kind of call. Turnover.
No,
just a little
wide.
bit too much. She wanted, I think, a little bit of meters along with that swing and just didn't get it. That's not what Mance was looking for.
No, and it's hard to see the throw like that go wide. I think, again, maybe the pressure, as Beck was just saying, creeping in a little bit intensity. You know, and it's so good to channel that into Frisbee, but when it gets, too high, when your heart is racing too fast, sometimes you trigger without thinking. Timeout called, and the fans go wild.
Veterans. Carter and Holdaway about to face off, but Carter knowing maybe this is the time for just to take a moment and maybe set up a set play like it seems like we've seen them do. Wouldn't be surprised if Coach Tim Juman's really got some words to say and sort of some input to make about like what to do next.
My goodness gracious, Beck. This is such an exciting matchup. And I also just shout out, when everyone cheered from the sidelines as Carter showed not only her team and the Cannons, but also everyone around, just ensuring that the communication was clear. Again, a veteran move, and I think that's why the fans all cheered, because they have understood. They saw, you can feel it from where we are, feel it from down there where everyone else is watching. Just the energy, maybe a bit too fast. So I think Carter probably right now, maybe different to other timeouts, but potentially saying to her team, Cannons have been rushing things, a slight misfire. We can't get lulled into that energy too. We need to play our grounded game. We need to trust each other. Whatever they've done to step up again and get on their own comeback train, they need to channel that and take a deep breath together and play their best ultimate.
They know they don't necessarily have legs to spare compared to Cannons, who their roster is significantly bigger. And they know they have to play smart. They have to play through those 100% plays that they have if they really want to come away with this and create what will be a huge upset and make their way to semis.
Definitely. And I want to say that now is when you dig deep as a team like Hammertron. Now is when you leave it all out on the field, and you really do. But at the same time, there's an entire another day of Ultimate. So maybe this is where you leave it for the day, knowing that really from here on out is when you need to leave it all out on the field. But how do you dig deep into the petrol tank to find more when you're potentially running on empty? Right now, both teams showing us that they're absolutely not. And stepping it up for the fans here, for you guys all in the live stream as well, definitely for Beck and myself. I've been jumping up and down here in the commentator booth with the stoke. I can't contain it. So offense is set, and now it's time for defense, as traditionally happens after a timeout.
I think, it looks like it's coming in match, but I think Holdaway is going to be sort of possibly just a little bit loose in that.
Maybe
in
a
that
junk?
middle. Yeah.
Looks like it might be a junk.
Yeah.
And
you can see Satanovic also hanging a little bit loose. They're doing a bit of a brackety type play. Huge, massive. Who's that going to?
Go, Hogan.
Oh, just out the sideline.
So powerful.
Oh, my goodness. Carter's got an arm and a half. She's got two. At least 2 arms. But each arm is an arm and a half.
Yes,
so 3 total.
3 total, and she clearly hits the gym with all 3.
Unfortunately, Hogan just not able to reel that one in. Again, the wind is pushing slightly across the field, so there might have just been a bit more carry on. Oh, she got a piece of that. Hogan's hunting. Satanovic looking downfield.
Nice movement. Finding Mance.
Looking middle. Oh, out of the hands of Chambers. That's heartbreaking. She's upset at herself, but ready to play a fiery defense. You can see her stepping up.
And that's
she wants to be on the mark. She wants redemption.
Taylor finding ball.
It looked a little bit undercooked to begin with, but didn't matter.
Nice.
Hogan, hold away, almost having a sniff at that. Sends that one. Uvlin's going to reel that one in. This is beautiful.
Oh my God.
Hogan's right there.
Yes!
And she gets it. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
What are we watching here?
How many points is this on the trot now? I don't think Cannons has scored in maybe the last. Is it 4 or 5 points?
I don't know. Cannons absolutely can.
Jeepers. Cannons know they can execute, but I think they're just struggling at the moment. And their body language is. Wait, is that game? What? Did we not hear the hooter?
I'm so
my
sorry.
gosh. We didn't know. Sorry to the viewers at home. We should have advised that was for the game.
It's
Here
confirmed.
we have Hammertron Mahuika going to semis tomorrow. Huge upset against Cannons.
Huge upset.
Who I know really thought that this year that they had enough experience, enough depth to go really deep in the tournament. And I know that this is going to be heartbreaking for those girls who've worked so hard all season.
Team, I'm going to have to take this home to my therapist and have a talk through what we just experienced because I mean, I'm sure like you guys, I feel left in the dark that I wasn't too aware that was the final points.
There's a lot to unpack.
There's a lot to unpack there. Yeah, a lot to unpack. Anyway, as Beck just mentioned, tune in tomorrow for more of these women's games. Fantastic displays of ability and skill on the field. I know I'm excited. And in the meantime, coming up very shortly, the New Zealand Opens team, Tanifa, matching up against the Barbarians. Until then, my name is Kelsey Bielik.
And I'm Beck Soper.
At Matsewa.